morning. Welcome back to life in the Higham house. It is another gorgeous day. The sun is shining, the sky is blue. We're in the garden today. We had a little bit of work to do in the garden, trimming some things up a little bit and picking some of our fruits. Definitely think today we're going to be picking some cucumbers and some pickles. They're ready to go. I think I've got some green beans that are ready to go. Outside of that, we're going to trim some things up, take a look around, see what's growing, see how it's going, and tend to whatever needs to be attended to. And give you guys a little garden tour, a garden update, because things are looking really, really good here, life in the Higham house. So, let's jump into it. Okay, we're going to start with our cucumber patch because I know we've got cucumbers that are ready to get picked. We may even have a few pickles that are ready to get picked. So we're going to start over here. What we've done is we have added this meshing, just some chicken wire we had sitting around. We've added that between two U-posts, and that is the trellis that the pickles and the cucumbers are beginning to climb up on. And you can see this one has done a great job coming right up on the mesh. We did help start things with a little bit of zip ties to get it going up, but now that she's clearly going up, we're going to go ahead and snip that because I don't want to strangle the plant. So we're going to pull that out. But you can see this one is definitely coming up, and it is binding itself nicely to the mesh. And this one too. This one's coming up really nicely. And so basically what I do is I like to vine the cucumbers. It's easier to pick. They get more airflow at the bottom. The leaves and the fruit aren't laying in the dirt. They're not laying in the mud after things get wet. So, and they're easier just to take care of when they grow up like this. And so about a week and a half ago we added this, and now they're beginning to climb up. And what I do is I use zip ties to get them started, and then once they start doing their thing, I'll come back along and snip the zip ties so that the plant is holding to the mesh and I'm not strangling anything because zip ties are getting too tight or because the plant's beginning to grow and get thicker. So we'll do that. So you can see, well, we planted these pickles. These pickles went in a little later than the cucumbers did. So they're a lot smaller, and you can see they're just starting to hit the meshing, and I don't think I'll have to use any zip ties for these guys. I think they're just going to grow right on up. There's a couple at the end that I might have to zip tie so they start going up, but these guys in here look like they're going up just nicely. And then in here we're going to have to clean a few things up. We'll prune a few things out, and let's see if we have any cucumbers that are ready to get picked. Looks like we've got the first of our pickles that are ready to go. Look at all those in there. You see all of them? It's like 5 or 6 pickles. 2, 3. Yeah, let's go ahead and get those out of there. So the pickles aren't quite as big as I'd like to see them. It's kind of hard. I get the sun to my back, sorry. But they're kind of all growing, squished together. So they're not really growing, they're just getting fat. And so we're gonna pull them now because there's really no way for me to spread them out. I did thin them out so that the ones that are still growing, maybe will get a little bigger. But I ended up picking 5 of these. So I've come around to the back side of the chicken mesh and just to see what we got coming in on the other side. Again, we have these pickle vines here. We'll have to get them growing up. But all of these look like they're already beginning to come up. And so we'll let them go. But you can see we've got a few more cucumbers coming in there. We have one more on this side right here. A few more coming in over here. And so they're doing really, really well. I'll probably pick this one. I'm gonna give this one over here. Where was it? Back here. We'll give that one another day or so before I pull that one. Amy likes her cucumbers to be a little sweeter, a little juicier, so we pick them a little earlier. And if I remember correctly, these are to be slicing cucumbers. Like I said, those are bushy pickles. These are our slicing cucumbers. And we have our, I'll have to look at what they're called, but they're something 8s. Super 8s or something like that. And they're supposed to be pretty big cucumbers. And I think we picked out one last week. And I think there's one more over there that needs to be picked. Again, we're going to pick them a little early because Amy prefers that they get picked a little early. So, cucumbers, doing really, really well. And here's a great example on this side. Now, these zip ties are holding the chicken mesh, but you can just see this is coming up, and little tendrils are coming in, and they're wrapping right around. They're wrapping right up around the mesh, and they're doing just great, growing upwards. So, really excited about that. Happy with this year's cucumbers because if you remember, we shared earlier that last year's cucumbers, we never got any. For whatever reason, they just didn't take. We tried multiple attempts to get our cucumbers to come up, and just, it never happened. We never got cucumbers last year. To the point that I actually gave up in July because we were getting too late, and I started and planted multiple runs and they didn't go. But this year's cucumbers, this is great. And this is not the only place we have cucumbers. We have our Super 8s over here. We've got some cucumbers over by the deck. We've got some cucumbers in pots. So this year's bounty is going to be quite significant. So let's continue with what's going on here in the garden. And check out this. I'm going to try to walk in here without doing any damage, because this, I think, is incredibly cool. We have never grown corn before, at least not corn that has produced or made any progress. But look at this. I am standing in the middle of our small little cornfield here. It's about 16 corn stalks, and they are taller than I am. I mean, look at this. This is just fantastic. Coming all the way down. Now, I don't want to disrupt these too much, because my understanding is there is something that's happening here in these all this area here. I think I saw it somewhere on YouTube, that this is actually what bears the pollen. And as wind blows and as animals come along, these begin to fall, and they fall down and they get caught in the hairy pieces of what would eventually be an ear of corn. And when they do that, that's actually what produces the corn. So when I said I want to get in here very carefully and not damage anything, that's what I meant. I don't want to be shaking all of this up too much. We just had a fairly strong wind storm come through. Let's say this. We had a mildly strong windstorm coming through, and really kind of blew into our corn stalks a little bit. I was really afraid we were going to lose them. But they appeared to be doing just fine. And I think, how cool is this? we have our very own little corn field right here in our backyard. It's not very big. When I say little, I mean little. But we will hopefully definitely have some corn. And I know that because that is where the corn is going to come from. And with each stalk, there are at least 3 of those, what I just showed you, with the hair and the little pockets and all that good stuff. So let me work my way out of here, and we'll continue to update you with what's going on here in the garden.